Hello and welcome to my brand new podcast, Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and I have been an elite podcast host now for 4 years. I started in the radio industry with Voice America and did a live show every single week called Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. It was a wonderful time where I was able to interview so many guests on how in their lives they have been able to speak up. And now I'm going to be interviewing so many others about how they have taken the leap. And I'm taking the leap now as well. And week after week, you're going to learn all about how you can too take the leap of faith, trust in yourself, and design the life that you desire and stop living a life that's strictly by default. We'll be interviewing elite leaders that will share their greatest regrets, successes, and how they did it. So I'm super excited to be with you today. And I want to first thank our sponsor, Dr. Melissa Balazan. Together at Ask Dr. Melissa, they help their clients shift from a plethora of pills to just a few truly necessary ones. Together, they peel back the Band-Aids and get rid of the unnecessary things that are just treating the symptoms. And it's time to treat the root cause. They leverage the established benefits of Eastern and Western medicines, and they focus on the true root cause of the issue and address it from the core. So be sure to schedule your Ask Dr. Melissa consultation today at askdrmelissa.net. I know Melissa. She is an amazing pharmacist with over 50,000 hours of clinical hours, and she gets to the root cause and helps you get off those meds. So be sure to reach out to her at askdrmelissa.net. So today, I wanted to get a little intimate with you since this is our first episode, so you could get to know me a little bit better as your host and your weekly host as you download each one of these podcasts. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm a corporate dropout. I came from the corporate world where I climbed my way up the ladder, like many of those in the corporate world have done. I spent 3 decades in corporate America. It was a time of celebration. It was a time of success for me. It was also a time for me to grow and learn. And I felt toward the end that I had started outgrowing what I feel like is this box, in corporate America. I felt like I was on that wheel every day. How many of you have felt that you're just living your life by default daily? And you're on that wheel and you just feel like you wake up and you get a shower and you get ready and then you go to work and you do the same thing at work every day and you have meetings and you meet with clients and you have meetings and just kind of humming through the day. And then you drive home and maybe you have younger kids and you're taking them to their sports activities, or you're going to the gym or something like that. And then you have dinner. Maybe you watch a show and then you go to bed and boom, 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 the alarm goes off the next morning and it starts all over. That was my life for a really long time. And it was okay because it was safe. I had a paycheck coming. I enjoyed having that regular paycheck because that was safety for me. And with my beliefs from growing up, I wanted to be safe and I wanted to have that regular paycheck. And then I started getting very restless about the last 6 years in corporate America and kept wanting more. As I was climbing the corporate ladder and getting into executive positions, I started traveling more. I was with myself more, alone. And while I was alone with myself, and many of you might have experienced this before, I really didn't like hanging out with myself that much. I think it's so sad to say that, but it's the truth. I didn't enjoy being in my silence and my presence. I didn't like it that I wasn't clear on who I was or what I liked anymore. And I think this had a lot to do with the transition of my age as well. Going back My husband and I got married back in 2009. We combined our family like the Brady Bunch. And so the children were starting to get older and grow and get out of the home. So we didn't have as many children left in the home anymore. And so me being a mother, of what I defined being a mother was changing, because now they were older, they were grown, they had licenses, they were moving out on their own, they were going to college. And I was taking on a different role with them, which really kind of left me feeling, many of you as mothers might be able to relate to this. I felt a little lost. I felt lost. Like, what do I do now? Right. I've been a mother this whole time and taking care of my kids, but they need us in a different way. When they grow up, they need us in a different way. And I feel like I grieved that title as a mother. And for so many of us women, we put ourselves on the back burner. I did put myself on the back burner of what my needs were, what my wants were, what my hobbies were. And I really just felt like and this was just my choice. I felt like I only had time to focus on my children and being a mother. And then when that role was changing and it wasn't as demanding as it was when they were children, I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know what to do with myself. And that was really when I dove in to a lot of personal development. So if you're a mother right now and you've got young children, don't wait. Please, please, please do not wait and keep yourself on the back burner until those children are grown and out of the home. You have such an amazing influence and impact on their lives today. And by showing them that you're enough, by showing them how strong you are, by showing them that you put yourself first, by showing them what self-care looks like, how to believe in yourself, how to be confident in yourself. They're watching you more than they're listening to you. So that is going to be key for them in growing up and you raising that next generation that's confident, that believes in themselves, and then they're not having to reinvent that for themselves when they get older. So start now, please, please, please. I beg you, don't wait until 40s like I did to do that. So moving on, I started working a lot on my self-beliefs, my self-care, my self-love. That was when my husband and I decided we would do something drastic and join a dojo. And when we joined this dojo, I spent about 2.5, 3 years, several days at the dojo per week, working on my black belt. And I had done things I had never done before, challenged myself past the mental capacity of what my physical body thought was possible. But our mental capacity is so much greater than we can ever imagine, and pushed ourselves past some of those hurdles that we ran against. I took the leap of faith there and did something I'd never done before. And I was so happy I did. I had a lot of successes along the way in competition. I also had a lot of failures. I worked to get district champion for 3 years in a row and missed it by 0.2 points one year. So that was a failure to me, but it was such a great learning opportunity. And by taking that leap, I never would have really pushed myself past the point that I did. So for me, failures become building blocks of our character. Failures become building blocks and stepping stones for our next adventure in our lives. And it builds the strength that we have inside of us. So remember that. Failure is what failure is to what you choose to perceive it as. And, it's the same with fear, false evidence appearing real. It really isn't real. We create fear for something that doesn't need to be feared. So remember that as well. And as we go on with more of these episodes, we'll dive in a lot about fear because, as I interview guests and they're talking about the fear that they had or the anxiety that they had or what they created as their story of why they couldn't do something. And then when they took that leap, what came from it, you will you will be able to build that strength in yourself as you listen to some of these guests and how they have moved mountains. So moving on from there, I did a lot of self-development. I really became keen on Jen Sincero and Simon Sinek. I still am today. There's so many mentors out there, Dave Ramsey, and so many people that I believe are out to make a greater impact, just like we are on the world. And I believe each one of us are called of God to be able to move forward in that purpose and to become the best version of ourselves. And the only one holding you back from everything you want in life is yourself. Believe that. I know I said that and you're like, yeah, right. There's a lot of outside influences. Those outside influences mean nothing. Perception of how you perceive that outside influence, how you perceive that maybe someone might be in your way or is blocking you from success. You are your own success. So I always say my favorite line, if learning is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. If you feel that you're not the leader that you want to be today, learn more, become the student, take the time, invest in learning more from others of how you can become that great leader. And my hope is that this podcast will offer you that additional motivation and inspiration for you to take the leap in your life. So I dropped out of corporate America once I had gotten to a level where I was just done giving my time and my life and my energy to something that really wasn't serving me anymore. And I felt like I wasn't making the impact that I could be making. And doors were closing and God was working through others very well for me. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I didn't heed the call easy. I resisted a lot because I was just narrow-minded, very set on this path that I had for myself. And then things shifted. For me, I realized that I wanted to become an entrepreneur, stepped out of the corporate world, became a partner, started a business called Lead Up for Women, which was a community that I've ran for the last several years. Very proud of building that community, very proud and thankful for the women that were in that community, that helped and served other women, empowered other women, opened doors for other women. This was a community of spotlights and a community of collaboration. And through the last several years, because I have been a business coach for 22 years and launched over 340 businesses, I decided to become a strategic business coach, a peak performance business coach for women, female entrepreneurs. Back in my corporate days, I worked with both men and female, but decided that I wanted to empower female entrepreneurs to be able to reach their peak performance, which would involve the success and reaching the goals that they've set for themselves. So I labeled this program LEAP, and LEAP stands for lead with enhanced acceleration to reach your peak performance. Enhanced acceleration is the tactics by which I use to work with these individuals to accelerate their advancement in reaching their peak performance, to accelerate their revenue, to accelerate their success, to accelerate the goals that they're looking to reach. And many of the tactics that are used are working on ourselves within. And then once we've been able to develop that clarity of what it is that we want, then we're able to hit the ground running in the marketing, in the strategic exposure, how you go about telling everybody about you and your business, the message that you're using, the clarity on your product and your services. So I'm very thankful to have had clients that have reached $100,000 months, $40,000 months, $1.2 million years. These are ladies that are serious about making a greater impact. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about money on this podcast because I'm not shy when I talk about it. The more money we have, the greater version of ourselves we become, the greater impact we can make, the more people we can serve. So if you feel that you're in this business to serve, but you feel that it's selfish to serve and expect to be paid for that, then we need to talk. You need to download this podcast right away. Listen to every episode you can possibly get your hands on and reach out to me. We need to have a conversation. So you can reach me at info@colleenbiggs.net. And of course, we have a lot of other information in the show notes, but there's so many ways that you can follow us in our community on Meetup at Leap with Ladies. You can follow us on Facebook at Leap for Ladies. There's so many different ways that you can follow us, follow me, and get connected with me so that you can convince yourself and believe in yourself that you do deserve to be paid for your products and your services. And the more money you make, the greater impact you're going to make. And, that's why we do what we do every day. So I want to thank you right now for believing in yourself and taking that first step to download the podcast, follow us on YouTube, subscribe there, and really get immersed into our community, show up at some of our events, and be part of this movement of taking the leap, which is starting now in 2022. So I'm happy that you have joined us. We are all taking the leap. Our community's taking the leap. My clients are taking the leap. The podcast is taking the leap. I'm going to ask you this question. Are you living the life that you truly desire? And if you're not, why not? Because life is going to happen daily. And you either design it to what you want to see happen in your life, how you want to spend your time, how much money you want to make, the people you want to work with, where you want to work, the position you want to have if you have a job, the type of mother you want to be, the type of grandmother you want to be. I mean, my husband and I, we have 7 kids, and we just had our 12th grandbaby born. And I want to be a beacon. I want to be a good example for my grandchildren. I want to be a good example for my children of someone who believes in themselves, who believes and serves others first, and who knows who they are, who knows their values, who stands tall and is rooted in those values and who they are. That way, when you show up everywhere you go, you're the same person. You're never hiding behind a mask. You're never hiding behind something that you're not. I don't know about you, but I think it's exhausting to try to be someone other than who I am. So I've embraced who I am. I've embraced my voice. I've embraced my character, my values. I know what I stand for. I stand for others, to empower others. I stand for honesty. I stand for integrity. And in everywhere that you see me, you will see that I walk the walk, talk the talk, because I will be that person everywhere, every day, every time. And I'm going to challenge you to do the same. So come with me, take the leap, download our podcast, follow us on YouTube, and subscribe. We have a lot of information that we put out there as well. Become part of our community on Meetup, become part of our community anywhere you can find us on Twitter. All the information is in the show notes. And I want to welcome you to the very first episode and to the first step of your life of taking the leap. Bye-bye for now.